Good morning, everybody. 8:15 a.m., May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Um, Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Um, tried to make some new lows, but couldn't. Hope everybody watched my midday update on that H pattern. Even though we came back to the lows, it's just hard to get short in those patterns. Um, Without further ado, let's get into a little bit of introduction. If you're new, my name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume and market profile along with supply and demand zones and my newfound friend gamma exposure levels. Okay, use that to put together a plan for stocks, futures, indexes, whatever. Right, using options, using you know selling options, buying options, advanced spreads. You got it. Right. So of course, trying to build the channel. Subscribe, send an alert if you can, share with your friends. Be much appreciated. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. Oh, you can give me a like. That'd be great. My name, Twitter, you can Gonzo719. Instagram, Gonzo719 Jersey. All right, let's get into some watch lists. Let's see, crude getting some love, up 2.89%. Ether's up 2.26. Bitcoin's up 1.12. Russell. All right, talk about these regional banks catching a bid today. Okay, up 0.95. ES up 0.66, Nasdaq up 0.62, Dow's up 0.48. 10-year yield will clock in at 820. The dollar's flat. Silver is slightly down. Bonds are being sold, so that should push the 10-year yield higher. Gold's down 0.56. VIX down 5.33%. That's a big move down. Okay. Over 19 still, though. Over 19 still. Let's move on. Coin up 8.92% currently. I am looking at a trade on that. Okay, so full transparency. Looking at a trade. All right, if it breaks 54, I'm looking for a pullback to go long on 54. It's a key gamma level. Okay, now coin actually came way under the loss that was projected. They cut a lot of costs. So, like in coin right now, Apple, we all know, had an earnings beat. They're up 2.34%. Key level in Apple, huge gamma level, was 170. That's kind of where it's at. So be very curious what it does over that level. Tesla just raised some prices and showed some good deliveries in China compared to a year ago with COVID. Okay, also interested in Tesla. Amazon's on 0.86. Is there a laggard today? Snow's flat, big move yesterday. AMD is down 1.41%. Okay. Now AMD took a rocket ship up yesterday. I don't know if everybody saw that move. Just ripped higher, um, and broke a key positive gamma level of 90, and then couldn't. If anybody throws up a chart and sees AMD, you'll see how that 90 acted as resistance once it fell below it. Okay, so that's down. Moving on. All right, crude's getting some love today. So Exxon, Chevron up 1.54, 1.13. Financials getting love today. Okay, JP Morgan is up 1.05%, followed by Roblox. All right, is there a laggard? No, there is not really a laggard to speak of. Now, what I just saw is that I believe JP Morgan just gave an upgrade to Western Alliance to a buy. Very interesting. Okay, moving on. Sectors. No surprise there. Energy getting a much love. Up 1.6. Financials. Follow that at. No surprise there. That's the difference. What the difference has been in the Russell, the Dow, and the S&P 500 is that financial sector weighing down on it when Nasdaq wasn't as weak, right? Well, now financials is coming back in, and energy is coming back in. So you're getting some strength in those sectors which were weak. Okay. Number three, technology. There's your Apple. Okay. Is there a laggard? Yes. Is that a real number? Am I seeing that right? I don't know. That's a pretty down 50%. That's got to be wrong. I mean, it closed yesterday at 243, and right now the bid and the ask is at 121. That's got to be an error. That can't be true. I mean, that's got to be an error. I mean, yes, AMD's down, but like Nvidia's not. That's got to be an error. All right, moving on. Let's get into some news. All right. Now we got data coming out, big data. We got non-farm payrolls. We'll go to that before 8:30. Now I got non-farm payrolls. We got unemployment that we're going to look at today. Okay. So let's move over to that. Actually, we'll get to some news and then we'll get into that. All right. So we got some market news. All right. I talked about this already. So we got Apple. They surprised with their iPhone sales. Warner Brothers stocks fell, but their streaming service posted a profit. Then you can see here, PacWest Bancorp rose 18.9% and Western Alliance climbed 16.5%, right? So now they're looked at as bargains because they're just down so much. Coinbase stock rose 8.2%. The currency exchange posted smaller than feared loss, which I talked about. Lyft is down big time. The company forecasts a downbeat second quarter as price cuts attempt to add more riders to take a toll on margins. Carvana is up big. Stocks soared 44% after the used car retailer forecasts a surprise core profit for the second quarter, offering some relief to investors amid solvency concerns. And that's really all I want to talk about there. That kind of wraps up a little bit of news. And now we can get into the economic calendar. We have non-farm payrolls. We're looking at a forecast of 190 jobs added. Okay, previously was 236. So the trend usually is we beat these numbers. That's what we have to really see. Is it weakening? Is unemployment weakening, right? They're expecting 3.6, an uptick in unemployment. Previously was 3.5. So we really have to see what comes in about a little less than more than 5 minutes right now. Let's see here. If there's anything in this financial juice to be worried about here. Let's see here. About an ECB. So ECB sees 2023 inflation at 5.6 versus 5.9. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, just the same kind of stuff. Bank stocks see surge after turbulent week. Just wanted to see if this had anything different for us. So that's going to come up. We might as well go to, we got 5 minutes. Let's go to the daily charts, right? We can wrap those up. All right, so I have monthly those VWAPs back on the chart. So this is the VWAP. Now very interesting, right? This is the left anchor VWAP from the last FOMC. You can see we pretty much, that acted as resistance yesterday. And then the highs of the FOMC acted as resistance as well. Now this just started. I just started tracking that. So very interesting, right? Let's look a little closer to this little move here. Okay, so we're below the 20, below the 80 MA daily. We almost hit the 50. In futures, we did hit the 50, but in SPY, we did not. Okay, see this low here, this swing low? So that was basically the support. That was the support in the SPY. Where are we at now? 407. We're at 408 basically right now. So we're gapping up. We're about right here at the previous day's lows. Okay, so that's where the SPY is at. Look at those weeklies, right? This is the 10-week EMA, right? I always talk about that. Well, we can't seem to close below it because we're right here. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Qs. All right, so we zoom out. You got this large range, right? We're building out some value. Let's go in here. We'll actually go from that move here. Okay. So we kind of got like a little downtrend happening here, right? Now you can see the FOMCs for the Qs acted as support and that acted as resistance. So interesting, right? So we close underneath the 20 simple day moving average. Okay, I just got an alert. Coin just broke 54. So I hope it doesn't go too far. That's a very key level in coin. And coin's wild off the open, so you have to be patient with it. All right, so closed here right on the FOMC, the last FOMC anchored VWAP. Okay, so right, you can see one was a resistance, one was support. Where are we at now, though? Right, we're at 318.24. That puts us right at the highs of yesterday. Right at the highs. Let's look at that weekly. Let's get a little closer look. So here's the weeklies, right? That 10-week EMA, very important, right? We haven't closed. Now, you always judge this by the close. We haven't closed below that since right here, and that was the week of, what is that? March 6th. That's the last time we closed below it. Okay, it's a good barometer, really good barometer. All right, moving on to the Dow. So the Dow with the financials, right, showed a lot of weakness. Okay, so FOMC, both anchor VWAPs acting as resistance, as well as the 100-day moving average, right? Closed right in the middle of the range, right? So kind of made a nice big low here. But remember that 330 gamma level? That was key. So I can just show you, put that on the chart really quickly. Boom. See that gamma level, that 330? I couldn't hold below that. And I pointed that out in my all right. So where are we at now? 332. 332. It's a Dow has a little bit wide, big ass spread here, but like 333, let's say. It's about right here, the top of the range yesterday. Okay. All right. So news just dropped. Let's go to it. Oh man. This is bearish off the bat. Yup. This is not good. Well, not good meaning We added 253,000 jobs. We forecasted 190. That's a huge. That is not unemployment getting softer. Unemployment went down. I would think the market does not like this. Okay, so let's move into some futures here. Let's go to the futures charts real quick. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Let's go to, that is geez, that was a little bit of surprise there. So we could see, really could see here what this price movement's gonna do here. So we're just up here. I'm really curious what the market does with this, because that is not showing any weakness in. You want to see more weakness. That could be poo-pooing this move. That's a very interesting. I'm curious if we can take out these lows here. That is shockingly, the non-farm payrolls added that many jobs and unemployment went down on that number, right? Dollars rising now. 10-year yield is up 2.75%. That is a surprise. All right, what I'm going to do now is let's go over to, I just want to see what the Fed Watch tool says after that news. Okay. So still expecting a pause, 98%, and actually 2% expecting a cut, which is crazy. That's a little crazy. Okay. But just wow, I'm really surprised at that. That is that is really something else, boy. Okay. Now that we got that, which is definitely a surprise. That is a shocker. What does the market do with that? Being that Apple beat earnings and stuff like that, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll analyze it when we get to it. Let's finish out the daily charts. All right, we're talking about the Dow. Let's just look at the weeklies in the Dow. A 10-week EMA, but however, look at the Dow. The Dow is right at that right now. So if we finish today down here, it will be a close below the 10-week EMA, and you haven't had that in the Dow. Uh, well, these two were closes below. This was a close below, but then we've been above it ever since from this point on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Curious to see what happens. Okay, moving on. Russell, weakest of the bunch. Weakest of the bunch. Okay, made significant lows yesterday. Almost 100% retracement of this move up. Okay, now where we are now, right? We're at 172.14. We're all the way about here. So we're gapping higher in the Russell right here, right? Let's look at that 10-week EMA. And that's just been, we haven't been able to close above that. And the Russell, you can see that's acting as resistance every week. Okay. All right. Now we can get over to our triple-headed monster. Let's look at these yields. Yields rising today, right now. Okay. Like I said, a lot of indecision in the bond market. They don't know what they're doing yet. Let's go to that VIX. The VIX broke out. Broke all the way up to over 20. The high was 2133. I wanted to see that, and that happened yesterday. Okay, but then now we're back down, right? 18.78. We're down here. Yesterday's lows. So, set an alert again here. All right, so that's our number, over 20 in the VIX. Now that dollar is doji land. We already know about the doji land. We can go from these highs over here. Catching a bid right now, maybe based on that unemployment. Rising right now. Gold's down 1.22%. Silver's down 0.83. Okay? Keep an eye on that. All right, now we can go over to market profile and volume profile. Okay. Let's go over what we normally go over. All right, man, we got multiple distributions. Now, if we're going to shake that off in the market, well, then we're shaking that news off, right? So we have multiple distributions. Got a distribution here, here, and here. Right? So it's a pretty ugly looking profile for the week. Pretty ugly looking profile. Now, we also got our monthly profile, which is a little more balanced. And let's look at our key levels now, right? So most traded price of the month, around 41.50, give or take. Okay. Most traded price of the week is down here. That moved lower yesterday. So a little bit of a ping pong action here. So you have a major level above that we're below, but now you have the most traded price of the week down here, which should have brought prices lower. But if it can't sustain, we could find ourselves back here. And guess what? We could balance again. Okay. Now let's look at where we're at as far as like levels, right? Let's see if I can get this tighter. Okay. Now we're going to look at relation of where we're at, see if there's any nuances in the profile that we can look at. Okay, so let's look at yesterday's low, 40.62. Hit a demand zone. Couldn't really hold and close underneath the 50-day moving average in futures. Okay. So we have that's our low, that's our high. Interesting, this is the gap that was not filled, right? But now we're gapping up in right at the gap. It's kind of funny. So this is the high, this is the low of the overnight. All right, so right now, okay, this is very interesting here. So what I'm seeing with Apple is we're 100% net long pretty much. So see how we opened here, we closed here, opened the overnight session here. All of this has been bought. Okay, so this is what you want to see if you want, and we're going into a supply zone. So everyone's long. Okay, you got a low here, right? So buyers came in down here, we closed here. Now just check this out. This is all the nuance of the profiles in market profile, okay? So just picture this. You bought here, and the most trader price is here, and the overnight is all long. So the most pain right now would be caused to the buyers, right? They're going to come into supply right here. And if they get some weakness, okay, this could be a nice move back. One, to fill the gap. Two, into this demand zone and possibly move down back. Okay, now what the other nuance is, this is a weak low now. Right here. You got a lot of nuances here. Okay, you got yesterday's settlement, the close. You have most trader price of yesterday. You have overnight low. See how all this is coming together? You have the 50-day moving average. So if the market does turn, I expect one or two things to happen if it comes here. If the market's not that weak, you'll hold it and you'll go long. But if the market is weak and you come down here with volume, you're going to get a flush. Boof. At least to yesterday's lows. Very important. Okay. But now we're gapping higher. So again, what's our gap rules? Gap goes the most bullish, right? Fail to fill the gap and go higher is second most. Fill the gap, go higher is third most. Those are the bull signs. If we fill the gap and start moving back into range, well then the buyers aren't as strong. Okay? And we got a supply zone in here, right here. So, let's look at a trade plan. And the first thing I'm going to look at is the fade. Okay, we're in between these two major levels, so we're still holding this 50% from the big day down. Okay, so let's look at that short. Now I already gave you the reasons why the short is a nice trade. 100% net long, every most trader price. All right. So what I would like to look at, and we also have single prints up here. So what I'd like to see is a move higher into supply. Now you could get weak out of supply, or you could touch these single prints. 9 AMA dailies here too. Even if you touch this, but then you started making lower highs, you can short that. Like I said, you're going to short back into the gap fill, yesterday's high, and then look to take profits in this demand zone. Okay, I don't know how much weakness. Remember, Apple had strong earnings. This could be the pullback people look at. They could go long here or in here. But I'm just saying, see, we're moving higher now. It's even better for this trade. Okay? Even better. You're 100% net long at the top of a range. Even better. Okay? This is even looking better. All right? So for that short. Now, it's not a short to get to break and go whole lower. I'm just saying that this is a nice play. You're going to take the froth off the market. You're going to take the froth off. Okay? Now, is there a potential for another? Yes. Okay, so if you're going to be conservative and you're going to wait, you want to see the market break this demand zone and then start finding acceptance here. You could then short to this area, hold a runner, and if it's really weak, that's why I said this weak low is going to get flushed. Look to take your next profit here at this demand zone, yesterday's lows. Okay, I like that a lot. However, you got to judge how the market looks. If Apple takes off from 170 or something, it is right now, it's above 170. Okay, but again, people could look to take profits. So that's what I'm saying. All right, now is there longs to talk of? Yep, there is. Okay, so the first one would be great. You come up in here. I'm not getting long in here. Gap and go, hell no. Market could do this, right? The only thing I really want to look into is first the gap fill and see how it gets handled, and then you can go long. I'd like to take out the supply first, right? So you go long here. I would target single prints here. Now remember, single prints I don't have much resistance, so we could go right to this monthly VWAP right here, 4130, and right back up if you get enough strength. And what's that going to do? It's going to knock into these shorts that were right there. Also, pull a little deeper. Market could pull deeper into this demand, and then we could pop out and target those single prints and possibly go back up here. And this is the last one for the bulls, is defending this level with the 50-day moving average. If we came down here, well, then you'd probably target the developing POC of the day and then go for, up here. I don't know how much we get today, but that's what I'm seeing. Okay, hopefully that is clear. But you really have to be on the watch of what Apple really is doing if you're going to trade futures, just because Apple, if that doesn't hold that 170 level and we start falling, well, then that fade's going to happen. Okay, let's go to look at the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ's different, a little bit of a different story, right? NASDAQ is not going to gap right now. It's not gapping. So let's look at the NASDAQ, okay? NASDAQ's actually a little bit weaker than the ES. Doesn't have financials, right? Doesn't have energy. So let's look at what we have here. Here's our weekly profile, distribution, and then this, right? The monthly profile is more balanced. Okay, where's our key levels at? Well, most trader price of the month right here, 131. Most trader price of the week is still up here. That's about 132. And we're in between these levels. This is Chop City in here. Okay. Now let's look at where we are in relation to yesterday's range. So we have overnight low, overnight high, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So we're right at the highs of yesterday. Where are we? We're almost 100% net long as well from here. Okay. So 100% net long, top of the range. Where did we go? Into the supply zone. That's where we found sellers. Okay, you got some 9 EMA daily and a 20 simple moving average right there. Got a lot of levels to deal with here. Okay. I don't really see a nuance. We do have single prints from the other day right here. Those could be taken out easily, but then fail into supply. Okay, so if we stay above this monthly level, that is going to be bullish, and the 9 EMA daily and the 20 simple day moving average. Okay, so what I could see is multiple things happening. Okay, so let's look at a trade plan. Okay, so what I'd like to see, a couple things can happen here. Okay, so if we talk about longs, remember we have Apple in mind. We talk about longs. What I would like to see is take out this supply zone, come back to yesterday's highs. We could even take these singles out, right? Come back, see what we do here. Target the most traded price of the week, 132. There is supply here, and then you can see possibly how much we can move off of that. Can we go back to here? That's one. Okay, I can also see us coming up in here, coming all the way down, testing this big level and demand right here. That could be your next long. Okay, you could target yesterday's high and then these single prints and then here. That's what I would like to see for longs. Okay, shorts, easily we're 100% net long right now. Come up here into the supply, fail, make some lower highs. Ooh, Baba. It's another one. Baba just crossed 83. It's another one I'm interested in. Okay, back to what I was saying. Then you would target this monster level with demand. You could hold the runner on to see what could happen here, and you could target yesterday's most traded price and demand also. I don't know. A lot of demands here. I don't know how far you fall. Obviously, could we take out yesterday's low? I guess. Right? I like this to this trade just because of taking the froth off the market, because the market could take the froth off and move higher. It's kind of really all I like right now for the NASDAQ. Using those key levels, right? You got to use those key levels. I only wanted to show you guys one more thing. I'm going to give you the watch list real quick just so I can set this up to show you guys of what I see happening here structure wise, just to give you an idea where I see things. We'll start with the ES. It's just hourly charts. We'll start with the ES. Now the ES, just to give you what happened here. See this low, I had a fib up to here. Okay? I had a fib going from up to here to here. Now look what happened. The ES took out that low. It 100% retraced it, so I took that fib off. That's because of financials. Okay? We took that out. So now I have a new fib on. It's from the FOMC high. So this is important. Okay? So you see we came down here, like I said yesterday, into the demanded 50-day moving average. What have we done? We've pretty much get bought it up. Now this is the key level, 41.14. That's the 50% retracement of the Fibonacci. Of the FOMC. There's also supply right here that we just got hit. See, now we're getting weakness. Do you see that? So that's the key level. What else is there? A trend line all the way from here. So this is why it's very important to take out this 50, come back, hold it to have any chance to go up here. Okay? Hope this perspective is helping you out. Now let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's different. Okay? I still have this fib on from here all the way up to up here. I still have that on. It's still valid. Why? Because they did not have financials in the NASDAQ, right? So like they didn't have that weakness. So let's look at this, right? So what did we do? Came all the way up here. We only look at this. This is why this is important. I always talk about the 61A is the last line of defense in a Fibonacci. So 130.17. What did we do? We pierced it, couldn't hold it, and closed below it. So now where are we? The most traded price of the year is 130.81. That also happens to be the 50% retracement. Now the NASDAQ is above that and holding it. So this is a tipping point. Just like this level. See this level here? The most traded price of the month, right? Most traded price of the year is here. So if we come back under here on the 50, that's where we can get some weakness. However, with Apple and a demand zone here, that's why it makes it tricky. And these big levels. Okay? But there is a downtrend line here and a supply right here overhead that we just nipped, got selling. Okay, so that's why this is very important. If we hold over the 50% and we keep, break this trend line, break the supply, we're probably going to go here and possibly move higher. But if we hit this supply and this trend, start the roll, take out the 50% Fibonacci, well, this could cause further weakness as a 61.8 and we could finally move lower. But it's very pivotal. Okay? But that's just the two markets. Alright, so that's going to be it for me today. As always, please subscribe. Set alert. Trying to build a channel. I will do a midday update again. I'll try to keep it a little shorter from what I'm seeing. Okay. As always, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up. I much appreciate that. And of course, my Twitter and my Instagram, right? I got to start doing some reels, all right, to get this together. Now, we got our plans. We got our plan in the NASDAQ and the ES. Okay. What I'm looking at as far as stocks, Tesla, I'm looking at along. Okay. Coin, it's got to hold over 54. Looking for a pullback to 54. Okay, Nvidia, I want to see Nvidia go over 280. Apple, I'm very suspect over that 170 gamma level. That's a big gamma level. Okay, Apple right now is holding it 170. You can see it. Go to your chart. 170 is a huge positive gamma level. And Baba, I'm looking at that to hold 83. If it holds 83, a lot of shorts are going to get hurt and have to cover, and they're already above. They're already holding last month's lows and last week's lows. So that can just start causing some pain for the sellers. Okay? But in futures, we have our plans. Now, sometimes stocks deviate. They can deviate like snow. Deviated yesterday. It broke out while the market was falling. Okay? So that's what I'm seeing. So let's stay green. Let's have a good trading day. And I'll probably do that video in the midday. Right? All right, guys, take it easy.